dibanding kita melakukannya manual. Nah, jadi untuk dari RidgeBot sendiri membantu sehingga dari customer itu mempunyai visibility yang menyeluruh mulai dari network sampai dengan cloud mereka untuk apa yang harus mereka perbaiki atau attack itu masuk dari mana, akan bisa memungkinkan masuk dari mana, itu bisa nanti ada semua visibility-nya. Nah, jadi untuk fitur yang pertama yaitu automatic penetration robot itu kita sudah bisa melakukan semuanya otomasi, continuous, nggak perlu agent, semuanya plug and play. Yang salah satu yang terpenting juga semua yang ditemukan itu false positifnya zero. Kenapa? Karena kita selalu tunjukkan ini loh buktinya bahwa kita berhasil melakukan attack-nya dan sebagainya. Bisa dilakukan schedule dan untuk personel yang melakukan juga tidak perlu orang yang memiliki skill tinggi atau mengerti untuk bagaimana cara teknik-teknik untuk melakukan hacking atau penetration testing. Nah, ini juga akan saya tunjukkan nanti di saat demo nanti. Nah, jadi untuk RidgeBot Security Hyper Validation Hyper Automation ini bisa digunakan ke semua customer, mulai dari banking dan government sampai small dan medium business. Dan juga bisa juga untuk nanti kalau dari tempat Bapak dan Ibu memang biasa memberikan managed service untuk security itu atau MSSP, bisa dibantu juga menggunakan RidgeBot. Nah, kenapa? Karena seringkali karena permintaan yang semakin banyak, sedangkan jumlah tim kita yang agak susah ketika kita harus hire tim baru, bukan karena masalah ekonomi, tapi karena mencari orang yang tepat itu memang nggak gampang, apalagi dengan sertifikasi yang memang dibutuhkan oleh Pentester. Nah, oleh karena itu dengan adanya RidgeBot ini bisa dikatakan 70-90% pekerjaannya sudah dibantu oleh RidgeBot, sehingga tim expert yang ada itu bisa melakukan sisanya saja, sehingga dengan jumlah tim yang sama kita bisa tetap retain customer kita. Nah, ini sangat penting. Kenapa? Karena misalnya kita karena permintaan sangat banyak, kita misalnya tolak customer A kemudian ke SI tetangga, dan kemudian otomatis kalau SI tetangga ada resource-nya, dia akan dibantu. Nah, kalau dia udah puas dengan SI tetangga, apakah dia akan balik ke kita lagi? Mengingat kita sempat menolak dia. Nah, itulah yang menjadi concern. Tapi dengan RidgeBot nanti otomatis karena dibantu, otomatis kita bisa retain customer. Jadi kita tetap bisa memberikan services kita ke mereka tanpa perlu khawatir mereka lari ke SI tetangga. Kurang lebih seperti itu. Ada yang mau ditanyakan sebelum saya menuju ke demo? Mohon maaf, ini kenapa tiba-tiba web demo kita ada ini, coba. Sambil menunggu, ada pertanyaan kira-kira? Bisa coba tanya ke tim.
Selamat pagi.
Ya, pagi.
Ya, saya dan Victor.
Ya, Pak.
Pak, jadi yang tanya apa aplikasi atau basis web?
Mohon diulang, Pak, atau kalau boleh diketik juga boleh, Pak, di chat karena agak putus-putus suaranya, Pak.
Kalau sekarang sudah jelas, Pak?
Masih agak putus-putus sih, Pak.
Putus-putus, Pak. Maaf, Pak, kalau sekarang sudah jelas, Pak?
Masih putus-putus, Pak. Halo?
Masih putus-putus?
Iya.
Pak coba ketik aja Pak ya.
Ya, boleh Pak.
Ya, baik.
Oke, kelihatannya untuk demonya harus terpaksa nggak bisa saya lakukan Pak, karena saya cuma punya login di demo 2, kalau di demo 4 saya nggak punya login. Demo 4-nya bisa, tapi demo 2-nya bisa ini kelihatannya. Kok di chat belum kelihatan ya Pak ya?
Halo Pak Hengki, boleh saya tanya dulu Pak?
Boleh
Saya
Pak, boleh.
kali Pak, ya kebetulan kenal Pak Hengki, ya
Iya.
selamat pagi semua. Pak,
Pagi.
saya ingin tanya, ya jadi ini toolsnya ini yang ada botnya ini, marketnya ini to the end user atau kepada solution provider Pak? Atau dua-duanya? Di mana bedanya kira-kira?
Dua-duanya Pak. Jadi kalau untuk license kan kita memang bagi dua secara fungsi ya Pak ya. Yang pertama buat melakukan testing secara network, dua testing secara web server Pak. Nah jadi kalau testing secara network itu dihitungannya IP. Jadi simple banget, jadi berapa IP yang mau dites ya udah itu perhitungan license-nya. Kalau yang base web itu berapa FTDN-nya Pak. Jadi FTDN bukan domainnya ya Pak ya. Karena satu domain bisa FTDN-nya juga banyak. Kurang lebih seperti itu. Dan bedanya kalau license-nya antara yang kita jual ke end user dengan ke managed service provider itu beda. Pertama kalau yang untuk end user itu sifatnya yearly Pak. Jadi selama license itu aktif dia mau melakukan testing diulang berapa kali pun selama targetnya sama itu no problem selama license-nya aktif. Bedanya kalau yang kita sebutnya ProX license yang buat MSSP ini itu sifatnya kuota Pak. Jadi misalnya dia punya kuota misalnya 100 IP 5 web misalnya. Nah itu selama kuotanya masih ada bisa dipakai, tidak ada batasan berapa tahun Pak. Jadi misalnya saya punya kuota 100 IP host misalnya. Nah hari ini saya melakukan testing ke 10 IP. Maka kuota saya akan berkurang menjadi 90. Nah, untuk 10 IP ini saya bisa melakukan testing ulang berapa kali pun selama 14 kali 24 jam. Nah, jadi selama 14 kali 24 jam saya bebas mau misalnya testingnya 2 jam selesai atau bahkan misalnya 1 hari kalau misalnya kebetulan mungkin celaka mananya banyak. Nah, itu besoknya masih bisa ngulang selama masih dalam kurun waktu 14 kali 24 jam itu. Gitu. Tapi misalnya sisanya yang 90 mau dipakai 2 tahun lagi atau 3 tahun lagi itu no problem, Mbak. Tidak hangus. Itu kalau yang untuk MSSP. Sudah bisa menjawab mungkin, Mbak?
Ya, sangat menjawab Pak. Jadi kalau secara tier pricing juga tentu ada bedanya ya Pak ya, kira-kira ya. Atau bedanya di flexibility itu Pak. Nah, kalau tadi itu ke solution provider MSSP, tapi kalau ke end user bagaimana Pak itunya Pak? Metode, policy, dan pricing-nya?
Kalau untuk yang ProX license itu kita tidak ada tiering, jadi pricing-nya flat, Pak. Tapi kalau untuk yang end user license itu memang ada tiringnya. Jadi misalnya untuk web misalnya kalau beli 1 web berapa, kalau beli 5 web berapa, 10 web berapa, dan seterusnya. Jadi, semakin tinggi tiringnya, harga per license-nya jadi semakin rendah.
Kalau begitu artinya itu the flexibility itu making the different Pak. The intervalnya, testingnya, dan tadi yang Bapak sebut itu bisa sampai daily. Itu yang making different di provider.
Betul, Pak.
Atau yang making different di end user itu ya Pak ya sebenarnya
Iya,
Pak?
betul Pak. Karena kan sekali lagi kalau kita jual sebagai services kan ya udah kita jualnya ya udah kita sekali testing habis testing itu selesai kan biasanya ya
Dibayar.
ya mentok-mentok mereka minta jasa remediasi kan untuk sebagai upselling-nya. Kalau kita jual sebagai solusi, nah mereka bisa keep up terus sepanjang license mereka aktif supaya jangan sampai ada jendela keamanan yang 3 bulan itu kan, jarak antara satu tes dengan tes berikutnya. Itu nilai lebihnya, Pak.
Kalau tentu bagaimana menggunakan resources-nya di destination atau di host-nya, itu akan kalau diinstal bot-nya ini, atau saya masih sebutnya agent ya, apakah akan menggunakan resources yang lebih daripada biasanya tentunya, Pak? Seberapa besar, Pak? Ya.
Oke, Pak. Pertanyaannya, ini yang Bapak tanyakan adalah untuk penetration testing-nya atau accessory cyber emulation-nya, Pak?
Yang ini, yang kalau kita lakukan agent-nya ataupun itu bot-nya kita install dan kita mau lakukan kayak delete automatic testing itu loh, Pak.
Oh,
nah itu menggunakan resources-nya bagaimana?
Kalau untuk automatic penetration testing kita tidak perlu install agent sama sekali, Pak.
Baik.
Nah, tapi yang namanya testing pasti memakan resource di network maupun di server yang dites, Pak.
Baik.
Nggak bisa dipungkirin mau brand apapun kalau dia bilang tidak menambah beban sama sekali itu udah pasti bohong. Karena namanya testing pasti kecil apapun pasti ada. Nah, tapi kita bisa kontrol, Pak. Sebenarnya ingin saya tunjukin cuma ya karena demo saya bermasalah jadi nggak bisa. Nah, sebenarnya bisa diatur untuk levelnya itu mulai stealthy sampai yang normal sampai yang paling noisy, Pak. Ya kalau noisy otomatis nanti paling mengganggu, kalau paling stealth otomatis paling tidak mengganggu atau beban yang pengaruhnya ke server ya atau network yang dites itu sangat kecil. Kita juga bisa selain schedule kita juga bisa schedule itu bisa dilakukan pause, Pak. Misalnya oke, untuk testing karena ada jam operasional mungkin jam 7 pagi sampai jam 8 malam atau sampai jam 9 malam testingnya akan berhenti ke pause, Pak. Tapi begitu jam 9 malam lewat dia akan lanjut lagi, itu bisa juga diatur seperti itu.
Baik. Ya, baik Pak Hengki, saya mau naik kendaraan umum jadinya mungkin terputus tapi nanti akan catching up dengan Bapak. Terima kasih, Pak. Ya.
Ada yang lain yang mungkin kan? Yang lain ada yang mau ditanyakan?
Aku baru testing gulaku tinggi sekali, jadinya aku nggak bisa makan. Ya, aku nggak bisa.
Oke, karena demo set saya lagi bermasalah, saya akan mungkin menunjukkan untuk dari reportnya. Nah, ini reportnya kurang lebih seperti ini bentuknya nanti. Nah, ini ada judul dari nama testingnya tadi. Kemudian ini juga ada kapan waktu testing ini dilakukan. Nah, ini meskipun kelihatannya sepele, tapi biasanya sangat penting kalau untuk compliance. Karena compliance kan biasanya butuh data-datanya. Oh, testingnya terakhir kapan dan sebagainya. Nah, kemudian kurang lebih bentuknya seperti ini agreement, disclaimer. Nah, kemudian di contoh testing ini kita mendapatkan 16 critical successful exploit. Nah, artinya Richbot berhasil melakukan attack dan ada 16 yang berhasil dibobol sama Richbot. Nah, ini kemudian ada versinya, yang versi yang digunakan Richbot. Ini nama tesnya, mulai jam berapa, selesai jam berapa, butuh waktu berapa jam, itu ada semua. Dan kalau misalnya dari customer ada yang nanya, berapa sih Pak waktu yang dibutuhkan untuk melakukan testing satu server? Nah, jawabannya variatif, Pak. Jadi tidak ada patokan tertentu bahwa satu server butuh 1 jam, 2 jam, 3 jam, atau sampai berapa hari. Itu tidak ada patokan. Balik lagi itu tergantung dari seberapa banyak celah keamanan yang ada di server itu. Semakin banyak otomatis membutuhkan waktu semakin lama. Nah, ini juga seperti yang saya informasikan sebelumnya, dari ratusan vulnerability ini sebenarnya cukup fokus di 16 ini. Meskipun bukan berarti nanti yang ini dibiarkan, jangan, tetap harus diremediasi. Tapi kita bisa fokus di 16 ini. Kenapa? Karena 16 inilah yang terbukti bahwa hacker bisa memanfaatkannya dan berhasil masuk dari 16 itu. Sedangkan yang 113 ini saat ini belum bisa. Meskipun nggak menutup kemungkinan, misalnya minggu depan ada vulnerability yang bisa dikombinasikan dengan salah satu yang ada di 113 ini sehingga bisa jadi attack yang sukses, memungkinkan juga. Tapi pada saat testing ini dilakukan, hanya 16 ini yang ada attack yang suksesnya. Nah, kemudian ini ada resultnya. Oh, ini kita berhasil melakukan database manipulation, remote command, bubble passwordnya ada berapa persen. Kemudian ini total apa ya aja yang dilakukan oleh RidgeBot, ini ada 19.200 task. Nah, ini ada summary-nya dari yang 16 tadi. Nah, kemudian kita masuk, dia akan mulai tunjukkan konfigurasinya. Asetnya ini ada 2 karena memang server yang saya testing ada 2 IP, kemudian dari 2 IP itu ternyata ada site-nya ada apa aja, port berapa, kemudian ada website fingerprinting-nya, oh ini ada yang pakai Microsoft IIS, kemudian Apache dan sebagainya, kemudian port apa saja yang terbuka, jadi ada listnya. Nah, kemudian baru kita masuk ke 16 tadi. Di 16 itu selalu ada tipe ranking, score, vektor, deskripsi, dan bagaimana solusinya. Nah, solusinya ini variatif ya, tergantung dari apa yang ditemukan. Ada yang cuma gampang, ya udah update software to the latest version. Nah, itu yang paling gampang biasanya. Tapi ada juga yang cukup complicated, kayak ini kan cukup complicated ini untuk melakukannya. Kemudian referensinya dari mana, dan berikutnya ini yang biasanya pentester itu paling susah untuk bikin ininya. Bukan susah gimana, kalaupun mereka sudah mendapatkannya, untuk bikin template reportnya itu yang mereka butuh waktu kalau buat ini. Nah, ini udah otomatis semua. Jadi mulai dari menemukan target dan sebagainya itu ada semua. Dan begitu seterusnya sampai 16 ya Pak, jadi saya skip aja. Nah, setelah yang tadi otomatis vulnerability kita juga tetap berikan detailnya mulai dari yang high, medium, low, sampai dengan info nanti ada semua. Juga kurang lebih sama mulai deskripsi, yang terpengaruh yang mana, kemudian sampai dengan referensinya, solusinya, seperti apa itu ada semua. Yang ada semua sampai dengan yang hanya info saja. Nah, ini udah info. Nah, kemudian juga setelah itu yang bagian terakhir dari report ini adalah ini. Jadi dia informasikan juga semua total ada 700 lebih kalau nggak salah ini. Jadi attack surface-nya ada detailnya juga. Kurang lebih seperti itu. Ada lagi yang kira-kira mau ditanyakan? Dan sekali lagi saya mohon maaf banget karena untuk demo site kita lagi bermasalah. Ini saya sambil coba tanya apa mungkin nggak untuk minta akses ke demo site yang lain. Sambil menunggu, ada yang mau ditanyakan kira-kira? Kalau tidak ada, ini kita menunggu dulu karena saya sedang menanyakan untuk username dan password. Karena yang biasa saya gunakan demo 2, tapi entah kenapa demo 2 pagi ini kok error ternyata.
Halo Pak Engki,
Ya,
Johnson Pak dari
ya,
BPI.
ya Pak Johnson.
Nanya Pak, tadi saya lihat ada fitur untuk aset manajemen. Pertanyaan saya, report apa aja yang akan keluar di bagian aset manajemen itu sih Pak? Terima kasih Pak.
Kalau di aset manajemen itu, oke, saya buka aja. Nah, jadi di aset manajemen ini nanti kita bisa dapat informasi aset apa saja yang kita miliki karena dia akan melakukan scanning di environment kita, jadi otomatis selama tidak diblocking oleh firewall atau apa, dia akan bisa dapat asetnya apa aja. Nah, karena ini untuk aset manajemen, makanya dia tidak melakukan porsi hackingnya kalau untuk aset manajemennya.
Oh, nggak seperti aset manajemen yang pada umumnya ya Pak ya, hanya terbatas
Ya,
informasi di luarnya aja
ya,
atau atasnya aja ya.
iya betul.
Oke, baik Pak. Makasih Pak.
Sama-sama Pak. Sambil menunggu, kira-kira ada apa lagi yang mau ditanyakan mungkin?
Sorry, ini melanjutin yang tadi Pak, kalau aset manajemen berarti install agent ke setiap endpoint-nya ya Pak?
Oh, aset manajemen tidak perlu Pak.
Oh. Saya kira sampai ke berapa unit itu ada related dengan license tersendiri untuk aset manajemen, enggak seperti
Oh,
itu ya?
enggak.
Oh, oke. Tipikal license-nya Richbot ini hanya yang tadi itu aja ya
Iya,
Pak ya?
ya,
Dua.
based on berapa IP atau berapa web yang mau dites, berapa FKDN.
Oke, oke.
Oke, nih saya lagi tanyakan ke tim untuk akses ke demo yang 4 ini harus minta izin yang dari US, jadi kelihatannya mereka udah tidur jam segini. Jadi ini saya lagi coba minta tolong tim dari regional untuk join meeting ini kalau possible, jadi saya coba stop sharing dulu. Halo?
Ya semuanya, kita sekarang sudah masuk sesi Q&A. Jadi jika ada yang masih kurang jelas atau bisa ditanyakan langsung ya, kita masuk open Q&A-nya. Oke, kita tunggu pertanyaannya. Silakan diajukan pertanyaannya atau bisa sharing-sharing untuk mengenai produk street security ini.
Oke, ini akan ada tim kita dari Filipina yang join untuk membantu demonya, karena kalau untuk akses ke demo 4 saya nggak punya aksesnya soal.
Hello.
Hello Jesse.
Hi, everyone.
Hi Jesse. Okay, since I have trouble to access our demo 2 website, so please help us to do the simple demo for to showing our partner how easy to create the test.
Sure.
And how is the reporting, and how we can show the proof if we doing successfully doing the attack. Thank you, Jesse.
Sure. Sure. Give me one moment. I'll show my screen.
Okay.
Disable participation. Can you share? Can you allow me to share my screen?
Okay, I
There we
will
go.
ask.
Yes, done. You can try.
Okay, there we go. So good morning, everyone. I believe this is the first time you saw, if you don't mind me asking for
Morning.
a couple of questions. Is this the first time you see RidgeBot? Everyone? I guess, okay. I guess it is the first time you saw RidgeBot. So once you get the license, this is the interface of RidgeBot. Can you see my screen here?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is the user interface of RidgeBot. So here, there's a username and login provided for you, and the verification code, which is, hold on, there we go. Upon login, this is the user interface of RidgeBot. So from here, there's a task list, scenario plugins, assets, and reports. Also here, this is the task list are the current running RidgeBot penetration testing that has been done or still doing. So basically, this is all of the interface that was you run previously and even on demand. So before that, I want to show you the configuration first. So from here, in the upper right, there's a VPN if you're prepared to have a open port, open VPN. And from this setup settings, you can see on about are the importance of, oh, hold on. Let me get login again. So on the settings here, you can see the version type of RidgeBot you're using, 4.0.0. So, and then the plugin versions. In here is the type or the activation type, date, and the expiration. These are the details. And here on the lower part are quotation information. These are the current license you have and the remaining. So basically that's it. And there's a also option here to, if there's a new update, there's a offline upgrade here. every 2 weeks, we provided the new plugins update. So you can check it out on our partner portal. So before we run a test, I am going to focus on 4 things. One is the ease of how RidgeBot is your operations, how is easy to use RidgeBot. Second is how taking the complexity of your team by just providing you the results. And the third one is what is the value we provide, which is we just not just showing you the vulnerability, but we try to prioritize those and give you results that based on the vulnerabilities that was or can be exploited, which is we call it risk. And then how easy to generate a report. So basically that's it. On the task list, as I mentioned, there's a health score here. If you check it out, there's a severity, how we show them that these are the pointing system or something like that, which we can provide you the health score. If it's lower than 60 health, then that means there's need to be remediate. So you can read it here on the question part. There's a severity. If it's lower than 20, that's severe risk, high risk, evaluated risk, guaranteed risk, and low. So you can read it here. If it's 100, that means it's okay. It's all good at the moment. So here, there's a name of the target. Example, these are the tasks that was named. The target's scenario done. The schedule, you can do it on demand, weekly, monthly, depending on how you set the pen test. And then who created it, there's admin, since I'm using the admin account. And then the start date, progress at the moment, and completed time. This is important on the action part. For example, you want to clone a specific task. For example, you modified a specific target. For example, you did a web penetration testing and remove some plugins there or ports that is not needed, and then you want to clone it and you want to run it next month, or maybe the following month or next week. You can do a cloning. There's a option here: clone, rerun, or delete, and even stop the service. So before that, we also have here the new version of which is 4.0 was released last early June. We have attack simulation. Currently, we don't in this RidgeBot, we don't have the attack simulation yet run, or maybe they deleted it because of the loads. We need to remove some stuff. So here on the scenarios part, I want to show you the scenario thing, which is we call it use case. This scenario are the use case that was used predefined by RidgeBot, which is all of the configurations, all of the attack surface for specific penetration testing are here. Which, for example, this with full penetration testing, these are all bundled with anything. If you just don't know what to do, if you don't know what are the things that you know, don't know. I just want to execute on a specific target, and you want to find out what are the running applications, what are the services that needs to be done, what are the websites that's in there. We recommended for the first time you run the full pen test, because it bundles all the right configurations for specific attacks and the configuration and parameters of a test, which is plugins. We call it plugins are the scripts that are look for vulnerabilities and exploit vulnerability, which is like port discovery, as well as some web application, web server, or websites. For if you want to go a specific target, for example, you would just want to do a web penetration testing, which is equivalent for one web license. You just go to the web license. Like example, this is a website or FQDN. You can just concentrate it on the websites. And if you want to concentrate on the host, you have internet penetration testing, which is on your internal network. And then for the weak credential exploit, this is actually important. This is in a sense that in a larger scale of enterprise, for example, like yourself or anyone in enterprise with a big servers sitting on the data centers. And some are, for example, it's a new one. So basically, if a new servers are set up, you have full configuration, full setup, right? But if you're in a good scale, there's like running around on the system or the servers that was installed before that you don't have the configuration, the management, and you just want to look for example, this specific scenario are scanning a subnet, look for all the active servers, basically try to use the dictionary to use if they can get into the server. If not, if they can get to, then there's a risk that maybe the attacker can do a voice exploitation or a lateral movement. So that's why this scenario is important also. So we also have this third-party framework penetration testing, which is basically application running on your system. For example, that allows you to look for WordPress, for example, CRM, MySQL database, Joomla, etc. So this is the right configuration for that. The attack surface identification. This is actually assets identifying, look for assets for your attack surface. For example, OS type, open ports, active servers. And actually this attack surface scenario identification, if you have the RidgeBot, this will not charge you of any a license. Actually, you can just run it to your system if you're running, for example, because it will just scan all of the running assets on your system. So this basically just scanning all of it, and then you can install it as a botlet and then do the pen test after. So this specific plugins are not charging you anything. So you can, example, you just have a demo account or in your system you already expired, you can keep on running this because it will not charge you anything, just so you know. And then the ransomware attack simulation, this basically some of the people are actually make confusion of ransomware attack. Oh, you do ransomware attack. No, we don't do ransomware attack. This basically what this scenario does is we are looking for attack simulation. This is attack simulation for on your network. What this scenario does is these are all specific plugins that bundles all the right configuration that the APT threat actor used to launch a specific ransomware attacks or any common malware used by the attacker before they're gonna perform a ransomware attack. So you can do that here. And then the third-party scanning, which is new for a 4.0 version. If you have the previous version, these are new. These 4 tabs here, the last 4 tabs are new, which is available now for you guys to use. This third-party scanning results are basically this one is you can import. Example, we can integrate it now to the Nessus Pro. For example, you have SIMs, you want to put it here, which is one of the we have here is the Nessus Pro. You can import all of the scan results here. What this scenario does is it will scan all of those results by RidgeBot and then try to exploit them. And then on the final report, there's a comparison of what Nessus Pro does and RidgeBot does, and all of the exploitable vulnerabilities that you guys imported. So this is basically it. And then for the endpoint security, this basically if you want to test your firewall, endpoint security setup, this is IDS, IPS, intrusion prevention or intrusion detection system. You want to test it on your system, how reliable, how secured, what are the attack surface possible that attacker can do. You can test it here on the attack endpoint security simulation. For this data exfiltration, this is actually for your DLP. What this scenario does is it will just run all of the, what this scenario does is RidgeBot will do a simulation if he can do a transfer data outside of the network. For example, your database, for example, you insert the target as your database, and it will do what will RidgeBot does is will try to export or get a file outside of that specific target to see if he can do that. Then the attacker can also do that as well. So we have this also for the DLP. And then for Active Directory, which is more of our corporates are using Active Directory, majority, if not, but most of us are using Active Directory. We also have that Active Directory information recon. So Since you have or you already aware of the plugins, let's get on to the business, which is try to do the easy part, which is creation of do a pen test. So first step, we have 3 steps here: create scenario, click the create, select a scenario, which is example, what do you want to do? Example, web penetration testing. But let's try the full penetration testing, for example, because it bundles all of the right configurations and plugins for everything in the RidgeBot. And then click, these are that needs to be filled up. For example, PT, let's say example, demo PT. What day is it? For example, July 27, 2022. We can name it that way. And then select the target. If you have the specific targets, you can import it. Since I have here, since I made it my own, so I have 5 targets. Let's make it at least 3. But normally I do 5, but we want to finish as early, so we can do 5 targets for now. And then here, I want to explain some tabs here. It's important that you understand all of the customization. We can run it now or schedule. As I mentioned earlier, you can run it once, weekly or monthly. For example, weekly, you want to run on a weekend. For example, you're in the bank, you're free off. You want to run in on a weekend because there's no banking on the weekend. You can also run it there. Or once, example, Saturday only, you can customize it, for example. And then you can select a time start here. If you want to, for example, you want to run on midnight, something like that. And then end time, you can also select it here. For example, then you can also, for example, on the bank, as I mentioned earlier, since I already pertaining to a bank, there's also a specific time, for example, where banking hours is, for example, 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. So you can pause a schedule. For example, you run it daily, for example, and then you want to pause in a specific operation time. You can also customize it here. For example, you want to stop the time at 7 a.m. until, for example, 5 p.m. for example. You can set it that way until, so that it will not interrupt the network or traffic. So you don't want someone to interrupt your operations, maybe it's possible downtime or possible network traffic. You can do that as well. But for this specific demo, I'll just click on run now. I just showed you how customizable it is for you to easy do it. But this one, the user intervention, this settings is for example, you want to monitor every single risk or exploitable risk on your system. You can do user decision. What this does is it will pop up everything. Example, you find 100. It will not exploit it because you need to decision if you want to try to execute it or not. But for this specific scenario, you want to exploit everything. Auto decision. For this, if you're using sandbox like what I do right now, this is a sandbox testing. You can do normal or noisy. This will execute more faster than a normal PT because of the traffic and stuff. It will finish as fast as you can, noisy, and normal, it's okay. But if you're on operation hours, as I mentioned earlier, you don't want to interrupt. For example, there's a network configuration that if this specific traffic are big, so the network system will block. There are a lot of corporate, especially before I was working in a corporate. So there's a network traffic blocking. So we provided that, and then if there's a traffic, it will automatically block by the network firewall. So we don't want that. If you want to do a run still, you can do it stealthy or intermediate. So you can do that also, customizable. But this just a bit running a bit longer than normal PT. So, but we recommended, example, you're in the bank, you can do stealthy so that it will not block by the system, your system or network system. But for this demo, you can just do normal. I want to tackle some of these information recon or port scanning. You can select, for example, common ports only. Example, you want to customize it for common ports only, so we can run that one. And then this one, exploitation, if there's you want to do no impact, this will just all run everything, and then it will do exploitation. But we want possible impact, which is a risk. We want to leave it by default, possible impact. And then for post exploitation, it's like more on lateral movement. So we leave it as is. And then that's it. We can click on run. As I mentioned, there's the 3 steps. Select create a scenario, and then click on run. And then it will just pop here on the task list, which is here. So far it's 100 because there's nothing found yet. But what good thing about RidgeBot is while it's running, you can already click the task on demand, and on demand you can in real time, you can get into the settings and show what's the RidgeBot currently doing. For example, on the topology view, if you notice here, there's a task, which is the current task was to find all of those, which is discovery of the target that I put on the targets. These are the targets discovery, which I just put it on the RidgeBot template. Since we have a current actually task finish, I can also show you some of the finished product that I run before. So here, this is what I run before. So these are the targets. If you notice, there's a red one, there's an orange one. So these are risks. Maybe there's a lot of risks are found in this specific target. In real time, you can click it. There's a option here like attack surface, which is also here, down options or down tab. There's a attack surface, vulnerability table, risk table, node details, and attack path. So let's click on the topology view. Here you can see also the health score and the targets, live targets, which is current targets. The attack surface was done by RidgeBot, which is 1,675. Attack path and the risk, 57 risk. And then let's go to the topology view, which are the current live in real time. What is the current running of RidgeBot, which all of these are the logs that was performed by RidgeBot. Let's just hide this one. If you see here, this is the topology view. These gray ones are the current vulnerabilities found by RidgeBot. If you notice, they are gray because this was the vulnerability found but not yet exploited by RidgeBot. So these red ones are the able to exploit by RidgeBot. So it's clear that there's a gray, which is vulnerability that you can remediate. Maybe there's just software updates or anything. And then the risks are this one, the red one. If you notice also on the right side, there's an AI node and the penetration, which you can see all of the risks. For example, this one, or brute force, there's a option here to check. If you see here, the details, target, service, username, and the password. So these are the current setup that was given on our RidgeBot. So we normally put asterisk because we don't want someone, for example, on your office, you do the pen test. Someone is walking around at the back. You can do a server surfing to just get the username password on your end. So we don't want that to we don't want that to happen to someone is walking around, like maybe someone is sweeping the floor, and then we don't want to interrupt the password. You don't want to see the password, so we put it asterisk. But I will show you later that in real time you can click on this to show you what's the real password is. So if you click this one, you can provide you the kill chain. For example, this one. So this one is a kill chain. We provided this are the in real time. Kill chain is the attack sequence, the attack path that RidgeBot went through. For example, this is RidgeBot on this specific target. He scanned that there is a target 192.168.105.180, and then he saw that there's an open port 139. So what RidgeBot does, he will do everything. He will exhaust all the configurations for the attack surface for the specific port. It will do the try to penetrate it. So he was able to penetrate by doing this Zumba username script, app script, which is a command execution vulnerability, and then is for the target, and then it was able to penetrate it. Here's the sequence 4. And then these are the what he did on this specific target. So in real time, you can show that. Oh, that's why we mentioned that we are, I believe Henki mentioned that we are zero force positive, because we provided you the in real time proof that for the specific target, we was able to penetrate it. So this is skill chain. We can do another one if you want to, but let me go on and move on for another SQL. The attack sequence are path. Let me go on and go to the task summary. These are the, in any scanner, this is also path you can provided you here on the attack summary, the health score, the attack path. These are the summary for the attack progress, how many jobs are done for the specific target. For this one, it's 38,310. Can you imagine for one single task? If you do a manual pen test, this is actually, you cannot do all of these tasks for a specific, it will just go through. If you running a full penetration or a manual pen test, it's hard to attain these jobs for a specific pen test, right? But for RidgeBot, this is what we mentioned. We provide you what's the value in specific target. We were able to perform 38,310 tasks, and then these are the summary of this are this 44% of those are discovery, 12% are scan, and 14% are exploit. And then here, it was able to found 1,222 vulnerabilities, which is conversion rate is here. You can see the high, medium, low. The risk 57, which is really, this is huge, 37 risks on the system, and 5 assets are compromised, 13 sites are active, and then 5 IP targets, and then these are the attack surface that can be exploited in one single pen test. And then let's go on to the attack confirmation. These are the details. You can check it here, all of the plugins name, scan, targets. So basically these are it on the attack confirmation. Let's go on to the attack logs are also same. What are the scan ports, exploits, and discover, which is also provided on the SAC summary. If you want to tackle and want to check it on, you can also check it here. But I want to focus on later on the risk table and vulnerability table, but I'm just gonna show you for this demo what we have here. So this is the asset table. These are the assets. And this specific target, there's a RCE, Command Execution 7, and 3 of those are Credential Disclosure. And this is the attack surface and attack vulnerability. So, and then you can also check domain. There's none, but these are the targets. And then let's go on, move on to the attack surface identification. Here is like normal vulnerability scan. It will provide you all of the vulnerabilities, ports, and these are the vulnerabilities, applications that was running, ports, status. These are the details, and the URL also here. You want to show some ports and sites. So it is provided here on the attack surface table. And then let's go on to the vulnerability table. This is it. As I mentioned, these are the SQL injection, file inclusion. In details, you can show them. You can show them the proof. What are the things that has been found on those specific targets? So these are those. You can click a lot of vulnerabilities are here. For example, you wanna check on the SS or cross-site scripting only. It will show you all of those here. And then what are the targets has been, for example, for specific port, there's here. Or maybe credential disclosure, for example, just want to plain text. It will also show here if you want to check it. And then there you can also do the action type, validate, or manual validation. These are all provided for you. But let me go on and check on the risk table, which is I'm gonna focus more on this. For example, for the RCE, a specific command execution. This is dangerous actually, because I'm gonna show you some. For example, for the specific target, it will provide you the OS type. If you do the pen test, you will understand why this is important, because in a specific type, you can check on the version type, the website, what are the things that the configuration that was in specific target, it will all show here the target as CPSS score. But what good thing about the RidgeBot is it also provide you the solutions in real time for the specific vulnerability. There's also presented a solutions here. The CBSS score is here, severity, and the attack vector, description type, etc. So here, let me go on and click on the attack RCE. Let me go on and show you the real time. For example, and then also there's a snapshot here. Let me check on one of these backdoor. Give me one moment. For this specific RCE, it's use Linux OS, and then we can show you in real time. For example, how can you show that we are zero false positive? Because we will provide you guys a real time proof. For example, in this specific target, let's wait for a while. You can do, since it's Linux, you can do a command line here, which is a Linux command. Let me check. There we go. For example, since we are using Linux, we can do ls command, LA, for example. Or you want to know the name of this specific target, you can also do that here. Or if you don't know the commands here, there's a predefined configuration also. Just click on username, example. There we go. If you notice there's a username, you can click it, or if you type it, you know how the command works. You can also who am I, it's the same. For example, list ls command, for example. It will show you all of the system versions are also here. And the environment, these are all provided in real time. And then the attack path, of course. This is how RidgeBot does, how it went through, which is the kill chain. Let me go on and check another one for the credential disclosure. For example, let's go on and check on credential disclosure. For this one, there's a backend password. You can, as I mentioned earlier, we will provide you in real-time proof. If you notice, the credentials that was used was admin, and then RidgeBot able to get all of the details. Even the password that was admin use is password also, which is backend weak password. So what this does, if you want to remove this specific vulnerability, just maybe change your password into more complex and more secure one, like one uppercase with a special character or minimum of 8, whatever. So we can also have the URL here, but that's use and web. And then the data manipulation. For example, you want to find another one, but if you want to check another one, if you mention SQL, for example, if you notice there's also weak credential is weak. The account was root and the password also is root. So which is RidgeBot able to use the dictionary matching, which is these are it match to our dictionary. The dictionary are important also. You need to just so you know, you need to modify those based on your configuration, for example, or your language. For example, you're doing a different keyboards, for example, then you wanna update. You need to update those dictionary for you guys to be able to have this kind of setup on the credential disclosure. Because it will all just match after you doing the pen test. And then for the data manipulation, there's like, for example, this one is SQL injection. It will show you the schema of the specific target. If you mention there's in real time, you can show them, oh, yeah, you were able to access the database. These are the versions, MySQL, the database type. Then the admin was used, yes. And then the root, current user was root, which able to access by RidgeBot. And here specific, there's a attack get by 5. This is attack gets by the database. And then this is the attack retrieve 88 tables. And then this is attack obtain with confidential. So these are what good thing about RidgeBot also is, even though example the one who ran the pen test on your system is a junior, what good thing about RidgeBot is it cannot move, example this table, since we already provided you the table. But good thing about RidgeBot is it's not destructible. It will not allow you to move this for specific. If you notice there's a red one with a highlight, right? It will not move you to a different one because we don't want, RidgeBot is safe for those because we don't want someone For example, a junior pen tester is just using the pen test, or you ask them to, okay, can you do the pen test right now? We provided you that, we assure you that it will not destruct your system. We will just giving you the real-time proof of the specific targets. So one thing that we provide is, we also provided you that we assure you that RidgeBot is good for you to use, it will not distract you. Unlike the other pen testing tool, it will might able to, example, you move this specific MySQL table to another thing like that. So you're trying to, we have a problem. Where's the data that I have? So there might be possible problem if some of the tools, that pen testing tool, but RidgeBot is safe for that. And then that's it. And then in the report preview, while it's running, that's good thing about RidgeBot also, you don't have to wait for the RidgeBot to finish to check the report. In real time, RidgeBot is able, for example, the one that we are running currently, let me check in this one, for example, the one that I run today. You also have in real time check, for example, you find a risk or for example, a ransomware attack pop up on their system already, or that specific plugins already have the risk. On the report, you can also provide it in real time. While it's running, you already have the report here. You cannot extract it yet, yes, but you have the detail of it. In real time, you can remediate immediately. For example, you want to close a port immediately so that it will not penetrate your system. So for a specific task, we already have able to perform 528 jobs in a span of how many minutes I was here? 16 minutes running. We already found attack jobs that was run by RidgeBot, 528. While for a manual pen test, it will take days, maybe, or maybe a week, or if those how many thousands that I showed earlier, maybe a month, I don't know, depends. But these are the good thing about RidgeBot. You can able to see the solution here, the recommendation, remediation sequence, and the attack simulation and the kill chain are provided for you guys. And then that's it. While it's running, since it's still running, I want to show you how easy to generate a report. For example, this specific target I ran last July 25. These are this is how easy to run a report. Just click on run report, and then the new version is also have, you can do a summary, raw data. For example, you run a weekly. Let me check on the weekly. There's also here the historic report. I want to show you that specific. For example, historic report, you want to do a trend, downtrend, or how many trends it did. For example, on a weekly basis, how many was, is it still same, or there's a trend like some days are we found 100, for example, then the following day are 90, for example. So at least you have a trend for the historic report, you know. And then raw data, if you want to import it, for some users want to import the report from RidgeBot to another, for example, SIMs. You want to do that also. You can also do a raw data and run a CSV file. Or for this specific demo, we just good summary. And then here, the tasks, the languages are 3. English, Spanish, and Korean. There's a recent update. I think there's a Spanish already, like Chinese, or I think there's already another template for that, Spanish, Korean. So there's another more in the days to come. And then that's it. That's how easy you can generate a report. In a minute, you can show you the report on the report tab here on the upper center. While it's downloading, if you notice, it's super quick. You can already extract the report in just a minute, and then provided you to the blue team, on your blue team, to do the remediation on their part. So since it's downloading, let's wait for a while. All right, it's already 50%. And then what good thing about this also, when you download the report, you can do a encryption. You wanna put a passcode on it. You don't want someone to open the report because it's confidential. There's a need to be specific team who needs to read it. So we can also do encryption and then do some codes depending on what you type it here. Or for this demo, just click on no, download. That's how easy to generate and download a report. And then it will pop up here. And let's wait for a while. There we go. Open file. And then that's it. We can provide you the report in here, the summary of the report, executive summary. These are the exploit. CBS as the health score are also provided here. There's also a instruction since a minimum of 60 score is already risked. So there's also provided here exploit result type, penetration testing, action distribution. If you notice business risk summary, configuration, asset details, web fingerprinting, open host, open ports are also here provided, and then the attack surface details, and even the solutions are also provided in the report. So that's it. Do you have any questions so far? Anyone?
Ada yang mau ditanyakan kira-kira?
I'm done with my demo. You have any questions? Feel free to ask. Or you want me to do another pen test or something? Feel free to ask, guys. I'll be happy to show you what RidgeBot can capable of. But these are more or less that's it. That's how we do things on RidgeBot perspective. So thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Jesse, for short notice, and you still can help us to do.
You're welcome anytime. If you have any questions, guys, feel free. Henki is a good one for my good friend Henki is here for you guys to accommodate you guys. And even a technical time, you can also ask here, and we will gladly answer it for you if you have any unclear on the demo.
Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome.
Ya, semuanya, apakah masih ada pertanyaan? Kita masih ada waktu 5 menit nih untuk tunggu pertanyaan masuk ya. Jadi silakan jika ada yang kurang jelas bisa langsung ditanyakan. Kita punya waktu 5 menit ya, silakan mengajukan pertanyaannya. Iya semuanya, apakah masih ada pertanyaan? Silakan diajukan pertanyaannya ya. Ya Pak Heki, sepertinya sudah tidak ada pertanyaan lagi sih. Mungkin kita bisa akhir aja webinarnya ya. Terima kasih semuanya. Terima kasih Pak Heki. Terima kasih.
Ya, terima kasih semuanya sudah hadir. Dan mohon maaf kalau tadi demonya sempat bermasalah, tapi tentunya dari tim teknis bisa join meskipun mendadak. Thank you semuanya. Dan akhirnya demonya agak terlalu teknikal mungkin.
Iya, semuanya terima kasih. Nanti untuk presentasi bahan materi dan recording webinar nanti akan saya share by email ya. Jadi yang sudah isi form kehadiran nanti semua akan saya kirimkan materi dan recordingnya. Oke, semuanya terima kasih. Sampai jumpa di produk webinar siswa yang lainnya. Salam sehat semuanya. Sampai jumpa. Thank you all.
Thank you.